and I'm here to bring you my weekly video instead of calling it my Tuesday video, since I never know when I'm here. It's my Tuesday video only on Facebook. I do a Facebook live at 10 o'clock on Tuesday mornings. I do it on my Facebook page, Stamp Crazy by Rita Holmes, and then I share it to my Facebook group, Stamp Crazy VIP, so it's seen both places at 10 o'clock on Tuesdays. I try to get here a little bit sooner, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And until I get some more streaming and lined up, then this is just how I do it. But anyway, I brought you a card. The card I'm going to do is a patriotic card because here in the United States, coming up July 4th is our country's birthday. We were founded July 4th, 1776 is our birthday, and I just thought I would make a card with red, white, and blue. I like red, white, and blue, so it fits. The card I made doesn't have to be sent for a patriotic card. It can be sent for any type of occasion, whatever you want to do, but I just want to represent red, white, and blue this week. So this is what I've done. As far as what's going on in Stampin' Up, next week, our new online exclusives will be out for everybody. We've had the pre-order for demonstrators. That's one of our perks about being a demonstrator. We get to see everything early. But let me just say that they'll be out for you to see. There's a lot of good ones, so I hope you enjoy them. And that's about it from me for now, except for to do my cards. So I am going to turn my camera down. While I turn my camera down, if you don't mind, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel would really help. So I would really appreciate that. So here we go. We are going to flip around, and there you go, seeing my finger again. I need to do this some easier way. Okay, let's go down to our cards. We're going to bring the camera down so you can see them better. And in fact, I'm going to move my camera over a little bit. It's what I usually do. Okay, here's my cards, and I've done 3. Here is 1, 2. The only difference in these 2 are the placement of flowers and stuff. And then on this one, I did the main flowers at the top and put little white flowers off at the bottom. So there's different ways that you can do that, and this is just a good idea for you to be able to do. I'm going to refresh my camera right here and watch my live right with you. I think I did this last week and it worked. Maybe that's what I have to hit. Maybe so. I don't know. Yes. And now I can see the chat. So if you're on here and want to say hello, I would appreciate it. And if I don't know you or know where you're from, just put in the chat where you're from. I'm always interested in that. So today I'm going to do one of these cards just a little bit different. I'm going to be making 2. Therefore, I am using the Impressions Abloom. I just don't think I can get enough of these dies because I love flowers. So I'm using not only the flower dies, but I'm also using the large oval die. And that's what this is, and it also cuts out a frame. And I'll tell you about that as we go along. I did an embossing folder on the edge here, and I did the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder, which is this big one right here. Great for scrapbooking and different things like that. So you can actually do a larger piece of cardstock and then cut it down. Would be faster. And then for my greeting, I used the stamp set called The Right Words out of the annual catalog. And I'm using the happy birthday right there. Okay, so here we go. Let's move all this out of the way. I have pre-cut everything so that we don't have to spend tons and tons of time doing all that type of stuff. I am using the card base 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And that way, when you score these on your scoring tool, either your paper cutter or if you have the scoring tool, whichever makes it nice. You have that crease to go by. I still make sure my ends match up when I'm folding. So let's do that again. I just hold that. Get all the air out of that card. There we go. Make a nice flat card to start off with. So there we go with our 2 cards. Now what I'm going to bring in and tell you what I cut is, these are 1.5 by 5 1/4. We are just going to do nothing else but glue these onto the side. Okay? So let's, haven't used this in a couple days. I hope it's not clogged. Oh no, there we go. So we'll glue this on this one. And we'll do the same over here, because we're going to make 2 cards as we make 1. That's always nice to do. Builds my card stash like I don't have enough in it, right? How many's got a big card stash? Or do you make your cards as you go? Since I do videos, I build up a stash, and that's okay. I actually have my cards at a farm market, so I have an outlet to get rid of some cards there. So this piece is 3 3/4 by 5, and that is just going to be glued down on top. This is a very simple card. Very simple. And one thing about this embossing folder, it looks good on either side that you use. Now I do try to get ink on all the raised areas so that I make sure I have a good connection to my cardstock. So there we go with that one. Let's do another. You know, I guess as you see it double, maybe you will want to do it more. I don't know. I just all at once started doing this, and it's kind of stuck with me. Every once in a while I'll do just 1 card, but most of the time I'm doing 2. So let's just line this one up on this piece right here. And I want to say on the inside of my card, I always like to bring my outside to the inside, and I just glued a flower in here. One of them, this one I did the blue flower, so it really doesn't even matter what flower you use, just as long as you use a flower. The next thing, and here's what I wanted to tell you what I did. When you use that oval shape to cut, it will cut the oval plus the frame at the same time. And because I wanted a blue frame, I got little glue pieces on my card. I wanted a blue frame. It also cuts this blue, so I'm going to swap. We are going to do a card with blue and with white. I'm going to take my glue eraser and get these little, and I clean my table, and I try to keep everything clean from these little glue things, and I still have them. I don't know what the issue is. Let's bring these in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my ovals. I started to say circles. My ovals onto my there we go. So we got that one. I'm going to give that a good press so it hits those high spots. Then I'm going to bring in my little frame, and I'm just going to hit this and put some, just see how much glue I'm putting, just a little bit of glue. You could actually put adhesive on your back piece of cardstock and make a sticker out of your cardstock and do this so that this is sticky. I prefer the glue. I can work with it just a little bit and wiggle it around to make sure I have a good fit here. And then I just use my fingers and press it all down. so I can make sure that that hits really well. Just press that down. And I'm going to do the same here, but I'm going to put the blue on this one. And we're going to see how this turns out. I haven't done one of these yet. So I thought, oh, I'm going to do it with you guys with YouTube. See what y'all think. And here I'm just going to also just hit my spots. Because we want to make sure that we get some glue around the edges so that it lays down. Can't tell right there if I got glue or not. We'll see. Flip it over. And therefore, you have to kind of hold it for a minute as you're doing this. Make sure it just fits. Press. You want to press that down and make sure you've got a good fit. So there we go. We have 2 of them. How's that? I have a container of flowers, leaves, everything from that set. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a red flower there. We're going to do a white flower, big one, on here. Whoops. I'm just getting these out for placement for a minute, and then you'll see what else I'm going to do. I'm going to put blue there. I'll put a red one. However I want to do that. I'm just placing these for now. So I am going to put a white here. Let me see what else I have in my little piles of stuff. See if I did some little ones. I did, yay. Then I'm going to do a blue one there. And then we'll add leaves and all that here in a second. So what I'm going to do with these flowers is I add just a little bit of color. So we're going to bring in my scrap paper, but I do want to tell you, I do have a PDF over on my group, Stamp Crazy VIP. You can join that on Facebook and get my PDFs. I have PDFs for all of my cards there. Gives you the measurements and how I did them, and it gives you a picture to go by. Almost forgot to tell you that. I'm sorry. Getting ahead of myself, I guess. So I'm going to put these onto the side that I'm not using right now because I have lots of them. So we're going to bring these 3 flowers in, and then I'm going to bring in one for the inside. Let's go ahead and do a big red one on the inside of that. And then we're going to bring in these flowers, and let's go ahead and bring in maybe a small blue one over here for the inside of that. And I need flower centers, very important. So I need 2 big ones over here. That's 2 big ones. And I need 2 small ones. I need 1 big one over there and 3 small ones. I hope I have enough small. Let's just see. There's 1, 2. See why I cut a whole bunch of these? Just so I'd have them. Because, I mean, this is like my favorite stamp set. So, I have blue. I haven't got any other colors that I need 2 small ones here. Because this flower and this flower takes a small one. And the big flower takes the big one. So, I got 1, 2. I need 3 small. There we go. Okay. We have 4 out on each one, then we'll get our leaves out as we go. Now what I do with these is I bring in the ink colors. Let's bring in the blue first. And I'll bring in my blue blending brush. Just get a little bit of ink on there, and I just kind of wipe off the edge, and then I just go in the center of that. And in the center of this one also. And it gives it just a little bit of depth to your centers of your flowers. This one's the hardest one to do because it's small. I could use my tweezers, I guess. Or I could use my pokey tool and hold it down because there we go. There we go. We have our blue ones done. Put that back. Get out our red. And we'll do the red ones. So, hope I got all my flowers right that I'm doing. Let's bring in. So I use the same colors. Night and Navy, which is on the card. Real Red. And I got that one dark because I didn't go off on it. But that's okay. He'll blend in once he's done. I think I'll go off on that one. Make him dark all the way around. There we go. Okay, so now we have those. And then we're going to bring in yellow. And with the yellow, I used Lemon Lolly as my centers. We're going to hold on to those, that's for sure. And this is so light you don't have to dab off. And I'm just going to add some color onto each one of these. Doesn't matter where it's at, it's the center of the flower. Could be the way the sun's hitting it, on which way it looks darker and lighter. So I'm not really worried about that. Need to tape my paper down, don't I? Okay, and then what I do is on the white, I put a little bit of yellow just to give some depth to that color. It's hard to do white on white. So there we go with some yellow on our white. So let's do these. You could probably, if you wanted to, like color a sheet of cardstock piece and then cut these out. That might be worth trying if you're doing a lot. I just now thought of that. The things we think of as we're stamping. Put that back. It's easier to hold my paper down with my finger. Then I'm just going to rub that in the center of that one. There we go. So we have our centers done. And I have a piece of scrap here. Before we put all the ink away, we will stamp our happy birthday on, I might have a lot of red, white, and blue birthday cards, aren't I? I'll send them. So, I'm going to go happy birthday here. And I'll put one here. Maybe I'll do one for future use right here. There we go. So there's my happy birthdays. That's a 1/2-inch piece of scrap that I had. I save all of those that size because they're great for these sentiments and that to do. I'm trying to get the blue off of my... Now make sure I don't have ink all over my fingers. I'm going to get me a wipe. Because those are hard to do. Well, they're not hard to do. They're hard to keep your fingers clean. Not that I mind dirty fingers, but I don't want dirty fingers on my cards I'm making on here. So I just bought me some new hand wipes because I don't want the alcohol on my fingers. I don't need anything to help dry my skin out, that's for sure. I got blue ink all over my fingers. Look at that. Messy person. Okay, so let me put those up, and now we're going to assemble these cards, okay? Put all that up. We're going to turn all of these bigger. This is for the inside. And that one will be for the inside. We're not going to put dimensionals on those. We don't want dimensionals on that. So we just want them on our bigger flowers. So let's get those out. I'll put one in the center of all my flowers. That's all you need on these, and that way you can tuck your leaves in under them. See if I have 3 left on this without having to cut the ends of it. Yep, one's right there. There we go. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take on my blue card, I think I'll go down here with that one. So there's my cards, my flowers on that one. Now I'm going to put flowers on the big one, and I'm going to do them up top. Actually, I'm going to bring that there, and then I'm going to put my white one right up here. Oops. Got to make sure you don't stick it to the flower that's already popped up where it gets lopsided. Now what we're going to do, we're going to turn all of these. Actually, we're not going to turn them over. I'm going to turn these over to put glue on the bottom of those. And we're going to put those on the insides of our card. So let's go here for this one. And you can just place that any way you want it. And I'm going to do that on this one. And we'll come back, well, we'll go ahead and put the centers in there. And what I do for the centers is I just put a little bit of glue in the center of the flower and put that down. We'll do the same over here and have this one done. So there we go with that. Now we'll close it back. Just going to ink up all the spots right there. Well, you can do too, like me, if you don't have fingernails, you can take and just pick those up with your pick tool and stick it down. And that works also. So you can do those either way you want. And then what we're going to do is bring in some of those little flowers. And then we'll do our leaves. And they'll be done. So I'm going to see how many white flowers I might have. There's 1, 2. I have 3. Perfect. If you can get a hold of them, it's perfect. There's 3 of those. I'm going to get my leaves out as I go too. I want 5 leaves. And over here, I think I'm going to put the little blue flowers on that card. And then 5 leaves. I know I got a bunch of leaves. Can't have too many leaves, right? So here's what I do with the flowers. I'm going to put a dot of glue So I have 3 dots of glue. I'm going to pick up my flower and just place them down. Sometimes they want to stick to your finger, so you got to get them down good. So there's those 3. Let's go ahead and do these 3. Same thing, I have those flowers are turned right side up on my table, and that way I can just pick them up and put them down on my card. That's got a little bit of the putty off of here. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna just place our leaves. And what I do with my leaves is I try to just fill in some holes here and there. I put a little bit of glue on the end of my leaf and tuck it and just press down. I use my flower to press it down. Works out okay so far. And I'm just randomly sticking them on here. I don't have any preference of where I'm going that I know of. That I know of. It's kind of funny. So there's my leaves on that. The only thing we have to do on that card now is put some the jewels, the embellishments on it. So we will do that in just a second. I'm awfully quiet, huh? Don't mean to be, but being awfully quiet. It's what happens when you're doing this. You're concentrating, right? You just kind of get kind of quiet. Whoops. One of my leaves are sticking up. There we go. Stick that down. It's because I got it on the wrong. There we go. Had a hard time getting that leaf to go in there. Dang. Okay, now let's bring in some embellishments. I'm just using the basic rhinestones. I really like those. You can color them if you want. I'm leaving mine just as they are. And just adding them to the center of my little flowers to add some color to them. And it brightens up the white flowers when you do that. You can add more gems if you like, but I like to just do this. And then we'll put our little saying on there and we'll have some cards made. And I'm going to do what I'm famous for. I feel like I'm famous for it because I do it all the time, is I just cut these at an angle. When I don't have a specific place that I want them, I cut an angle and then I use them wherever I think it looks best. This card is this way. I'm going to use it down here. And I'm going to pop that up. And since I used all my little pop-up things, I'm going to put a strip like that, just in the center of my card, my piece. Pop that up right there. I'm going to do the same with the next one. It sounds like it's raining at my house. I'm in the basement. This is where I work, girls. This is where my room is, in my basement. I love it down here. So let's take this one, and I think I'm going to put it up high over here. So there we go with the 2 cards. That's what they look like done. What do you think? Looks pretty good, huh? So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you belong to on Facebook and you want to go to my Facebook group, Stamp Crazy VIP, you're more than welcome to go and print out the PDFs for this. But until next time, remember on Saturdays, I do bring my Simply Saturday cards, which are much simpler cards. They don't entail as much. And be sure to watch those. They're up on YouTube and on Facebook. All they're pre-recorded videos, and they come up at 10:30 in the morning, 10:30 Eastern time in the morning. So until then, I hope you all have a blessed day, have a good time, and be creative. Bye.